What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. Greatly appreciate you joining in on the podcast. It's been a spectacular few days here, actually a whole string of days here in Mason, Ohio, with the weather. Hopefully you're getting the same as well as we head into the thick of the fall. So anyway, today we're going to talk about $50,000 potential student loan debt cancellation, and who's proposing this, how it might impact you, give you some tips here at the end of this with some hypothetical analysis. You can get a peek into our software, what we use for clients, and see what we might be able to do for you as well. So big things you need to pay attention to on this. We're going to go over it. But first, wanted to thank everybody that's subscribed to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And if you're finding value out of this in any of the videos, make sure you hit the like button, smash it with those fingers, whatever it may be, and that'll help our YouTube algorithm supposedly get the videos out to more people out there, and that could benefit from it. So appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. Hit the bell icon. The benefit of that is you'll get future notifications immediately when we release any type of videos out there. So again, thank you very much, because we're really, bottom line is, we're pursuing the best ideas when it comes to financial, time-saving, inspirational stories, whatever it may be, all in order to strive and help you pursue the life that you desire, hopefully sooner than later. And hopefully we're getting that kind of information out to you. But today, what I want to do before I get into this $50,000 real quick, since we're still, a lot of people are hurting. It's really frustrating out there. It's just obviously hard on people. And they tell me laughter is the best medicine. I always hear it. So I'm going to start off this podcast going forward with a quick joke, very quick. And the joke may be that just watching me try to deliver it, because I've been horrible at joke telling. So that could be it right there. So anyway, since we're talking about college debt, I thought college joke would be a good one. So the one that I found out there is, it says, college is the opposite of kidnapping. Do you know why? Because the colleges, they demand $100,000 from you, or whatever your student loan debt is. But if you don't pay them, they send your kid back. Get a little laughter there. What do you think of that? So that's my joke. So hopefully you like that. We'll see. But anyway, all right, let's get into this and talk about what I had brought up, which is the $50,000 student debt potential cancellations. I'm going to bring myself up here. You can see this. So if you go to, I'm going to change this to the first page of this, but you can go to warren.senate.gov / and there's a bunch of little things in here. I'll try and put a link to this in my description if you want to take a look at it, which I actually will go ahead and do. And that way you can see the information yourself. But bottom line is, two senators, Senator Chuck Schumer, you should probably see him on TV all the time, and then also Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is running for the Democratic presidential nominee. She put this out with him, basically immediately calling for the President of the United States to take executive action and broadly cancel federal student loan debt immediately. And basically going through all the hard, the crisis that we've been going through, and talk about how there's 43 million people out there in the United States that have student loan debt totaling $1.5 trillion. That's a lot of money. I think we're paying out more in Social Security, or about the same, the benefits to people. So that is a lot of money. So they're immediately calling to cancel, and it's up to $50,000 worth. And the critical part of this is typically when $50,000 of student loan debt is canceled for whatever reason out there, is that you have to pay income taxes on that. So even though you got rid of $50,000, depending on what your tax bracket is, you might be paying $5,000 to $10,000 in taxes. But let me show you this. So this is what's very interesting on this resolution. And if you go to page 5 of 6, so it's not a very long thing. You would expect something written in Congress, right, the government, to be about 700,000 pages, like a Harry Potter book. But this one's 6 pages. And it's talking about point number 2, resolved that the Senate, actually number 2, I guess, is recognizes the Secretary of Education's broad administrative authority to cancel federal student loan debt under the existing authorities of Section 432A of the Higher Education Act of 1965. So it's basically calling on the President of the United States to take executive action to broadly cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt for federal student loan borrowers administratively using existing legal authorities under such Section 432A and any other authorities available under the law. So, and here's the other kicker, is that the next point goes on to talk about is that on top of that, they're saying that they go ahead and also they want no taxation on all the forgiven debt. So if we've got $50,000 of student debt that you have and all of a sudden, whammo, it's gone, then you don't even have to pay any income taxes on that. So that could be huge. So not only, you're not paying any more monthly payments, which on probably $500,000 or $50,000 is probably close to $500-$600 a month over 10 years, let's say. So that's a huge cash inflow that then can be used towards other stuff. So obviously there's pros and cons to this. There's the moral thing of it. You have people that just paid off their debt. What happens to them? So I don't see anything in here that talks about that. So that's going to have to be dealt with, I'm sure, somehow. But the way these things are, it takes a lot of time to develop, just like the second stimulus check. We're still trying to work on that. That hasn't been completed, and there's some still differences there, although they're getting closer. I got another YouTube video coming on that. But let's now go in and let's take a hypothetical look at this if this were to happen. I've got it, and this gives you an idea of the software that we now have access to through LPL Financial. Whatever softwares are on the platform, we can pick and choose, which is fantastic as an independent broker-dealer. We're not just stuck to whatever software is provided. As more companies try to get onto the LPL's platform to offer things, they do a compliance check, they review it all out, test it and all that stuff, and then we can pick and choose. So I'm going to tell you right now, I've been in this business almost 30 years, and this is the best software I've ever used out there so far. And there's some things in here that are just fantastic that you can use, and I'll show you this. So this is under the retirement section of this Mr. and Mrs. Just Starting hypothetical client. And you can come in here and we can make adjustments very quickly. I've used a lot of softwares where you can make some changes, but then you got to go back behind the scenes and change a bunch of stuff, and you got to call the client back. Here it's right up front, make the changes, and the client can see the change immediately, which is fantastic. But here you can see we can change and this is above my head, the planning horizons, long-term care cost, retirement age. You can get into college planning. So this couple age 25, just getting started, making about $60,000 each a year, looking to have kids. We can now hypothetically put in a future children, what would look like if they went to public school, private school. We can change all that. We can put in here if they put in Roth contributions, IRA contributions. We can itemize each of their expenses and make changes easily. So if somebody spent $150 a month on insurance, house insurance, why not? If we can find it for $100 a month, what will that do to my plan long term? Auto, gas, maintenance, all this stuff we can put in here was so cool. And you can change this and just hit the refresh button and immediately see what happens up here to the change. So what I want to focus on right now is let's look at age 66. So this is the projection, and there's a lot of assumptions built into this, but just for purposes of illustration, the impact of removing $50,000 of student loan debt. I want you to see this. 3.8 million projected if they were to invest the way we have all these built in here. They're averaging about 4.7% of their money throughout, and they end up with about 3.8 million if they average 4.7%. If they're only averaging about 1%, they only end up with about 1.5. That's still a lot of money, but that's future dollars, right? It's not in today's dollars. That's not built in there. So future dollars, 1.5, 3.8. But here's the magic of this software. So quickly we go into this profile tab. We hit the net worth page here, right up on here, and then we scroll down a bit. And I'm going to get out of the way, but right here is the loan section. You can see we click on this. It's going to bring out their loans that we built into the system. We got two $25,000 student loans built into here. And if I click on one, it's very simple. We can take this out of the plan. So now there's no more student loan debt for Mr. Just Getting Started. No payment of $276 because it won't show in the plan. He's not paying 6% on the loans anymore. Balance will be paid off immediately. Done. It's not coming out of his expenses. And then we take Mrs. her student loan. Actually, I got to go up here and make sure I undid this and hit save. I did that. And then we're going to come down. So now it shows excluded on the plan. That's how you verify that. And then we hit Mrs. Just Getting Started. And we're going to take her debt off the board, hit save, and now it's going to show excluded here also. Now, we go into the retirements tab, go back to the comparison tab from that, and it takes a second to load on this. And here we go. Okay, comparison. Now we got a new projection built into here. So I'm backing up. Age 66. 4.1 million versus 3.5 or 3.8 million. And then we had 1.627 versus 1.5 million if you're only in 1%. So you can see the power. If you can average an extra 3%, 3.7% on your money, and you put more money into the plan, how the dramatic difference is, not only to them from a lifestyle standpoint, an extra 300 grand at age 66. I mean, that's a big deal. And an extra 100,000 if, they only making 1% on their money the whole time. So that's the importance of this potential that could end not only on their current spending, right? $267 a month each on the payment. Looked like I had it in there. That's more cash flow used for something else. But what the other tip is that if you're thinking about refinancing federal student loan debt, you might want to hold off. Now, I don't know your situation, anything. I can't. This is not necessarily for you particularly, but just in general, you might want to think about holding off on refinancing student loan into a private debt, because you can go to like SoFi, do some private student loans. And then this may apply a lot to the Parent Plus loans, which I haven't seen anything in this resolution that would necessarily exclude or include that forgiveness on that, but we don't know that yet. So a lot of people have taken Parent Plus loans and they'll consolidate them in a private loan, which has been a great idea in the past because you're paying interest rates of 7% plus, and you can get private loans at 4%. But then there's also pros and cons to that on federal. As long as you feel like you got a steady ability to pay that off, going to private without, again, this is completely separate from this $50,000 potential cancellation of federal student loan debt. But just in general, if you go to Parent Plus loans, private, if you feel like you got a consistent paycheck, you're going to be able to pay things off, because the federal student loans, even though there's higher interest rates, they actually can provide more flexibility potentially if you're unemployed for a while, forbearance and stuff like that. But a lot of the private loan providers are also getting into that too. You just have to compare and contrast and stuff like that. But for purposes right now, we're talking definitely federal student loan debt that the student themselves has taken out under their name, potential $50,000 cancellation is being put on the board very seriously here, and you can see the power of that. So if you want to get help from us on any kind of planning, student loan planning, whatever it may be, we can help you out. So we help out. We give an upfront complimentary plan. It's worth 2 hours of consultation, which includes gathering information and then basically an hour of consultation face-to-face like this, especially with COVID-19. We're doing all our meetings virtually like this. So you have multiple camera angles, and we look at all your different charts. So we do that up front. If you like what you see, and depending on your situation, maybe you're a do-it-yourself or you just want a second opinion, but you still want access to the software that we have to be able to play with that, because you can do all kind of really neat things with it. Account aggregation, you can see all your accounts in one place, whether it's from Fidelity, Schwab, LPL, you can put it all together. An account aggregation here coming up. So you can really do some neat things. It's $16 a month. You can have access to it, do whatever you want with it. Doesn't include any financial planning, any investment managing, anything like that. If you want to get into all that, we're doing a full financial plan. We're managing your investments, doing everything for you, picking the investments, when to sell, when to buy, is an annuity good or life insurance good or stocks, whatever it may be, all that kind of stuff. Estate planning. We help you manage that with your attorneys. We look at tax planning with your CPAs, all that kind of stuff. Then depending on your assets under management, there is an annual based fee on that with a minimum of $400 a year on that, and depending on certain different things there. Lastly, if you've got a product, you've got a service, and you want to promote it, we're doing, especially in COVID-19, we're still trying to do promotionals like this. If you want to come on our podcast, we can bring you in virtually, remotely from your office or from your store or whatever, and you want to talk about it, we can get compliance approval to do it. We'll bring you on and have at it. So with that being said, if you want to contact us, our phone numbers and stuff have been scrolling on the bottom there and emails, but here they are again up top. Feel free, definitely reach out. My question of the day for you guys is this. What are you doing about your student loan debts right now, or just debts in general, your financial plan? What is your plan out there? Let us give you a second opinion. Maybe there's some information. Like, again, we're constantly pursuing better ideas out there. I don't know everything. I'm learning constantly from other advisors, bringing in new ideas, trying to bring that all to you as well on a consistent basis. Let us share some ideas. Maybe we've got something that you haven't thought of. Maybe there's an investment that we have that you've never had access to, or maybe there's something your financial advisor hasn't thought of that we could complement with. So give us a call. With that being in, from our family to yours, we wish you good health, a great rest of your week, and God bless America, and have a spectacular rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never